Hi, I'm Dr. Katie Schlenker.
And I'm Dr. Ece Kaya. Welcome to our new video series, Women Making a Difference, a celebration of UTS Business alumni. Over the past few weeks, we have been interviewing these inspiring women leaders in their industries, and they are making significant impact in their fields.
We will be releasing our videos over the coming weeks, which share the stories of our featured alumni. But for now, we are excited to share with you some of the highlights. It is fitting that we do this on International Women's Day as we join together to celebrate the achievements of these women.
So I came into UTS to do an MBA, and that's a very strange thing for a children's author to do. And it really was very helpful to do this MBA because it gave me a language for understanding and interacting with business, which was very useful at that point in my career.
Well, I did my Masters in International Business with a view to having an international career, and I did. When I was at UTS, I started working with businesses internationally, and I haven't stopped. And I think, the UTS network is an incredible network that still inspires me today.
I actually met the person who hired me for my first job in the events industry in a class at UTS, believe it or not. And I remember feeling like all of the stars had aligned because I was, looking for jobs in the space at that time.
In completing my degree, I was both working and studying at the same time, and my studies were able to be applied in my work and vice versa, which was very effective.
To do a whole degree that helped me understand business modelling, strategic planning, helped me then support the individual directors at a service level to understand business and why certain elements of business are really important.
So when I was at UTS, I had the opportunity to work with a person who actually came in as a guest lecturer, and I started my career out with her as an intern and then went into my full-time work with her.
The fact that I had a master's degree in sport management really gave me the confidence to know that I was where I was meant to be.
The contribution of UTS was quite pivotal in my career. That alone gave me experience in all these different areas. That just catapulted me.
You come into a master's having some ability in the first place, but I left the other end very confident about what I could do, where I wanted to take myself.
We will get to hear some of the challenges these remarkable women have overcome and how some of the obstacles open doors and new possibilities for them.
I've had to navigate working through the Asian economic crisis, working across different industries and different cultures, and also returning to work after having 2 children.
The main barriers that I found was actually more to do with myself. There's a generalisation that women are not as effective in promoting their own accomplishments, and I feel that earlier in my career that was definitely a weakness that I had, and I overcame that by being more proactive in setting out what my goals and areas of development were.
I think the biggest barrier still, unfortunately, is the barrier of taking time out to raise a family. Even though my career at the time I was working as a creative in an advertising agency as a staff writer, but when I left to raise children, it was extremely difficult to be able to perform that job in the way I had been, and I really needed to reinvent myself.
I've found that, especially in an institutional style environment, you are pigeonholed. If you've been there a long time, there are people who've known you since you were very young, and they won't see you as anything other than a trainee or a junior because that's all they've known you as.
I work in a profession that is over 90% female. In terms of that being a barrier, it hasn't been a barrier. Neither, I guess, has being a female leader who also has a disability. Sometimes the biggest barrier that women can put on is on themselves, the sort of belief that we have in what we can achieve. And so sometimes that may have maybe prevented me putting my hand up in a situation where I could have perhaps done so. Maybe, again, with age and a bit of wisdom, you get a bit more confident at putting your hand up.
To overcome those challenges, I decided that I needed to not rely on progressing within the organisation. I needed something else. I needed an edge. I needed to take the leap into the real world. So I went and did my master's degree and I took that leap.
I've definitely come across individuals that think I shouldn't be in the position that I am, and I've had to change their mind, shall we say.
The biggest barrier for me is overcoming the stereotype of what a leader is. I don't fit into that stereotype, and that's something I've always been really aware of. But I've never wanted to. I knew what I could bring to a situation, but how I articulated that was always a challenge. So for me, overcoming that was really understanding my strengths.
These inspiring leaders also open up about what they are passionate about and how their passion drives them to create impact.
One thing that I'm passionate about, particularly in my industry, is showing young women a career path for them. I currently work in a very male-dominated space, so I can imagine that, you know, a lot of people may externally think that there aren't career paths for them, but I want to be able to show them that young, ambitious women do have a career path and there isn't anything holding them back from being able to achieve whatever they're passionate about.
I'm deeply passionate about raising literacy for children, and I'm particularly passionate about increasing a love of reading.
I'm passionate about providing opportunities for people, especially children and youth, to be able to participate in education, sport and employment.
I'm passionate about making a difference for individuals and businesses on the global stage and reach their full potential.
My passion lies with the next generation of young people who want to work in the wonderful world of events, and I truly believe that skills like empathy, creativity and determination are just as valuable, if not more so, than, you know, years of experience alone.
Another thing that I'm very passionate about is supporting children and families who have a disability and supporting their inclusion, because as for all children, those early childhood years are so important.
I'm passionate about social housing. I grew up in social housing. I credit a lot to the stability that provided me growing up.
And our alumni were excited to offer their advice to current and future women leaders.
And they shared with us their knowledge and experience they've gained since graduating from the UTS Business School.
Back yourself, ask for what you want, and surround yourself with great people and great cultures.
Be confident in where you want to go and be vocal about it. Reach out to your network and tell them your desires and your dreams. That's what I did, and things have eventuated for me purely because I'd had a conversation with someone about where I hoped to be or what I hoped to achieve.
Don't try to emulate others and push yourself into spaces you're not comfortable with. Understand who you are and what you can bring to every situation that's unique to you.
You have to identify that passion and that interest and keep going after it. And the path to get there might not be a straightforward path, particularly if you're a creative, particularly if you have other aspects of your life that demand things from you. It may not be a linear trajectory.
One piece of advice I'd give for the next generation of female leaders in particular is having the confidence to back yourself and know that you have a seat at the table.
Reflect on what it was like for you when you were in the position of those that you manage. Be the supervisor, be the mentor, be the friend, be the colleague that you wanted on your team. Inspire those that you are lucky enough to be responsible for, to do the same when they're in your position one day.
Take the opportunities, don't be afraid to.
Own your career. Don't consider that just being good at your job is going to be enough. Celebrate your successes and communicate that.